Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the about to be rainy Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be the day it all came crumbling down. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So I will jump right into it. For each and every one of us in the community and on the channel, there was a day in your relationship with the narcissist where it all came crumbling down. This is a day that was pivotal for your growth, for your awakening, for your understanding, for your security, your health, and to find your purpose. You see, when you were in the narcissistic relationship, each and every day you were being peppered with abuse. You were being gaslit, you were being stonewalled, you were being given the silent treatment, you were being taken for granted, you were being manipulated, you were enduring the smear campaign. All of these words and phrases and definitions are things that were foreign to you. You did not know what narcissism was, and more importantly, you didn't know what you were up against when you were in that relationship. Maybe the relationship was one of your parents. Maybe it was a romantic interest. Maybe it was a friend, a colleague, a neighbor, a person you looked up to, a person you admired, a person who believed in you. All of these reasons or people and many others are the way the narcissist infiltrates your life. You see, the narcissist comes at you in different shapes, different sizes, different forms, and it's not until you get the wisdom and apply the tools that you are fully insulated. In other words, again, when you did not know what was going on, meaning you did not know what narcissism was, you didn't know what you're up against. You were up against something that had a huge advantage over you, your time, your energy, your love, your empathy, your money, your resources, because you were working for the narcissist. You were doing everything you possibly can. Perhaps if you were a child of a narcissistic parent, you were being blamed for things that you did or didn't do. And maybe one of your siblings was the golden child and you were the scapegoat, and you could do no right. Even though you were doing right, you weren't being given credit for it. And the other person, let's say the golden child, had no boundaries, and they could do whatever they wanted to, and they would laugh in your face and take advantage of you. And eventually your parent, who was the narcissist, and the golden child would team up on you, team up against you. And they would continue to do this until you got the message, until you got the wisdom that they, in fact, are incapable of change. They won't change. They can't change. They are two peas in a pod. They are the same dark energy force. It's just that one is decades older. This is the narcissistic abusive cycle. It goes around and around and around. And you must remove yourself from this cycle whenever possible. And that is why perhaps you found a needle in a haystack. You found the wisdom. You typed into the search engine or the browser or YouTube something like "spouse won't talk to me," or rage fits, or gaslighting. And then one video or one article led to another, which led to another, and then ding, ding, ding. You found a checklist of toxic behaviors, and the person you are thinking of, or the person you were in the relationship with, they're checking all the boxes. And this was very frightening, because now you had become introduced to something that the narcissist never thought you would be introduced to, which is the education and the wisdom on the narcissistic abusive cycle. The cycle goes around and around, and there is one constant in the cycle, and it is the narcissist. It is not you. It is not their friends, their colleagues, their job. It's none of those things. It's one person, because one person, when you were in the relationship with them, was trying to tear you down. They were trying to pepper you with abuse. They were trying to have you not believe in yourself. They were trying to gaslight you, stonewall you. They were trying to throw rage fits on you, and they were verbally abusing you, mentally abusing you, spiritually abusing you, financially abusing you, at times physically abusing you. And they did not ever think you would figure them out. They did not ever think you would heal. They did not ever think you would be strong enough to put yourself back together. But that is what you are doing, or you have done. That is why you are on the healing path, headed towards the pinnacle of indifference, headed towards indifference, not carrying a grudge, not blaming others, understanding that that relationship is something you had to go through. Now, did you want to go through it? Did you want to experience the toxicity of the narcissistic relationship? Of course you didn't. I didn't either. But it's something you had to go through. You needed to experience that relationship. If not with that person, it would have been with another person coming at you in a different form. Now, having said all of these things, it leads up to there is a day in your life, or there was a day in your life, when all of these behaviors add up. And it is when the relationship comes crumbling down. This is a day that perhaps you figured out finally, oh my gosh, my spouse is a toxic, narcissistic person. Or this is the day that someone introduced you to a video. Or this is the day the narcissist threw one rage fit too many for you and you left. Or this is the day, flip it, this is the day you stood up for yourself and put a boundary in place and said, I didn't sign up for this. You're treating me so inappropriately. What is going on here? I can't believe how you're behaving, and this is only getting worse. You would say something like that, and what would happen? The narcissist the next day would have the moving van outside of your house, and they're gone. They've slithered away onto the new supply without giving you closure, without discussions, without anything, because they are incapable of introspection. They don't want to be accountable. They believe everything in their life is the fault of others, and you were a person who was being blamed for most of the poor behavior in the relationship, although it was the narcissist administering the toxicity to you and to other people around you if they were close members of the family, because A, the narcissist could do that, B, you didn't know what you were up against, and C, you were working for the relationship. You were working for the narcissist. You were the glue that kept the family together. You were the glue that kept the relationship together. The narcissist was not building anything with you. They were looking for opportunities to take as much from you as they possibly can. And as I mentioned so frequently on the channel, they took away a lot, specifically your health, your money, your network of friends, maybe your job, maybe your city, town, country, maybe your hobbies. They took away a lot from you, and they knew what they were doing, because the narcissist needs to take from people and then go on to another source of supply and take from that person, the whole time elevating their lifestyle, elevating how important they feel about themselves, watching other people's lives implode, watching other people's relationships dwindle and vanish, driving wedges between anything that matters to you and anything at all that they have access to. So why I'm saying these things is there is a day, the day everything comes crumbling down, that is a day you cannot forget. It's a day when the mask officially slipped. It's the day when you saw the darkness of the pupils of the eyes of the narcissist. It's a day when they showed you their disdain for you. It's a day you cannot erase from your memory. It's a day that catapulted you down the rabbit hole of exploration, of education, of the awakening. This is a day that if you could take back, my hope is you wouldn't want to take back. Now, although it was probably one of the most challenging days of your entire life, the day when everything came crumbling down, if you made it this far in the video, you understand that that was a pivotal day in your life. You see, if you had stayed in that relationship longer, could you have stuck it out maybe a few more months or years? Yes, you probably could have, but would it have benefited you? No, it would not have. The narcissist would have continued to press the gas pedal. They would have continued to watch every bit of your energy and your health and everything erode and become depleted. They would have lined up the new supply, and they would have glommed onto the new supply probably while you were in the relationship with them. That's probably what they did anyway, although we'll never know. Or maybe you do know, and if you do, drop comments below. But the narcissist is always leapfrogging from one person to one person, from one relationship to another relationship. That's why they have flavors of the month. That's why 1 month they're spending more time with that person. They think that that person is the most exciting person on the planet. And at one period of time, that was you. The thing is, the difference is, most people that enter the narcissistic relationship, they don't stay very long. If you married the narcissist, or if you are a son or daughter of the narcissist or a sibling, that's a whole different ballgame. But if it was a romantic, let me rephrase this. If it was a friendship, usually these relationships don't last that long, because the friend will either A, turn out to be a toxic person themselves, or B, they'll wise up that they're being used and manipulated, and they'll disappear. Now, there are exceptions to that statement. But what I'm saying is, if you were married to the narcissist, as an example, there is a day when the whole thing came crumbling down, because your relationship was built on a house of cards. It was built on quicksand. It was not built on anything you thought it was. So when you took your vows, you most likely believed in them. You believed that you would be a part of a family, or create a family, or head in the same direction with the narcissist, because you believed in your vows and you took them in front of hundreds of people. Well, that's what you believed, and I'm certain that's what most, but probably not all people in the audience of your wedding believed also. You see, if you married the narcissist, their family knows that they have issues and challenges. Now, do they know what the word narcissist is? I can't say that. What I can say is that they know that if you married them, they were relieved, and they were saying, wow, this one, which was you, is very strong. They're going to do for a period of time, because they can endure the punishment, because they have the rose-tinted glasses on, or they're a people pleaser, or they're an empath, or they make our son or daughter feel really important because they're giving to a fault. Maybe they are a people pleaser. So the parents or the family, even the siblings or aunts or uncles, they may know that you married a narcissist. They're never going to say it though, because they blend into the background, the people that were attending the wedding, and they act like everything's puppies and rainbows, unicorns and butterflies. That's what they're supposed to do. Now think about this for a minute. If you did marry the narcissist, if anybody in the family of the narcissist walked up to you and told you, hey, you're about to enter something that I don't know if you can get your way out of it. You're about to see something after those wedding bells ring that's going to change your life forever. It's not going to be good for you. I don't know if you want to proceed with that. First of all, nobody would ever do that. But for this illustration, if somebody did do that, you would think, wow, what's wrong with you? I'm in love. They love me. Like, what's the problem here? Are you not happy for us? What's going on? You wouldn't have believed them, because the narcissistic relationship is something you had to go through. And that person who perhaps for the illustration would tip you off, they don't say a word to you many times because they want to watch your life implode, or B, they can't say a word because they know you're not going to listen to them, because you are already in the narcissistic fog. You're already in it too deep. You're about to get married, etc. And we don't have to use the marriage as the best illustration, although it is a key one. It's the same thing if you're dating the narcissist. Same thing, if you're entering that relationship, many times the family knows what's going on, and you are going to be boyfriend or girlfriend number 15 in the last 2 years. And that's why many times you don't meet the family of the narcissist, because the narcissist has seen these relationships come and go every which way the wind blows, and they're just thinking to themselves, well, this is the way it's going to be with my son or daughter. It's not going to change, so I don't really need to invest time and spend time with these people. But then again, think about this. The narcissist keeps little groups. They keep little sects, little bubbles of people away from each other. Why do they do that? They do that because when they get discovered from one group or bubble or sect, they can go on to another one, and they can just let that other bubble or group disappear or discard them or not give them attention or energy. This is why the narcissist is doomed and or destined to repeat the cycle. The cycle will go around and around and around with the narcissist. The one constant is the narcissist. So the day everything came crumbling down, that was a day that was inevitable. Each and every narcissistic relationship has an expiration date. Each and every one of them have a day that will change your life forever. Maybe it's a day you figured out that the narcissist was cheating on you. Maybe it's a day you figured out that they drained your bank account, or they've been slowly bleeding your bank account for decades. Maybe it's a day that you figured out that they don't love you. Maybe it's a day that you figured out that they weren't there for you when you had to go to the hospital for a procedure. Maybe it was the day that you got an inheritance or a large amount of money and they wanted to spend it as fast as possible, but they didn't want to continue to pay down the mortgage or to buy life insurance, things like that. Life insurance is a whole different thing. The narcissist loves life insurance, because you get my point there. I'm not going to go into it in this video. But there are pivotal days when the relationship will begin to come crumbling down, and then there are the day that everything comes crumbling down. That's the day that you can't tolerate it any longer. That's the day that you stand up for yourself. That's the day perhaps that the narcissist discards you, which is a whole different thing. Let's say that you thought things were going well in the relationship. You knew that they weren't 100% good, because there's always something off in these toxic relationships, but you couldn't put your finger on it because you weren't taught narcissism in school. So you stayed in the relationship, you kept working for the narcissist, and then one day, let's say you came home. Maybe there was a note on the table. I don't love you any longer. I got my things. I'm gone. Goodbye. And this is after a 5 or 10 year relationship, and you're like, what's going on here? What's going on here is the mask has slipped. The narcissist has moved on to the new supply. They've found someone that can replace you. They found someone they believe that will take a better position to help them catapult through life than you could, because your resources have already become depleted or diminished, or you were in it too deep, or all of the above. Maybe another thing is, if you got discarded, again, like I mentioned, perhaps you put a boundary up, and the next day there's a moving van with 2 movers in your house, taking everything apart bit by bit, piece by piece. What happened there? I'll tell you what happened there. What happened is, you stood up for yourself after years, and you told the narcissist, back then you didn't know they were a narcissist, but you told them the truth. Hey, what's going on here? I'm not being treated properly. I'm being excluded, and you're disappearing all over the country or the globe, and you're not even spending any time with me. What's going on here? Well, when you do that, they realize that you're really catching on to them, and they can't have that. They can't have the intelligent conversation, because the narcissist wants to inflict as much damage upon you and upon anybody they come across. So what would they do? In that case, they would discard you. They would be gone. They would not give you closure. They would administer the smear campaign on full throttle now, because it's been going on for years. And now you're left isolated. You're all on your own. No one knocks on your door. No one checks in on you. Nobody cares about your existence because the narcissist has done a masterful job with the smear campaign. Understand my message here. There is a day, if there hasn't been in the past, there will be in the future, when everything will come crumbling down, specifically if you're still in the relationship. If you're out of it, drop comments below and share with the community what your experience was, because we all have a day of reckoning. We all have a day of awakening. We all have a day that we are in disbelief, crumbled up on the ground, perhaps having gut-wrenching screams, carnal screams, tears flooding down our face. We can't understand that somebody claimed they could love us, claimed they could be with us, claimed they could grow old with us, and yet they could throw us away like a sheet of paper on the freeway. That's what the narcissist does. They don't care about anybody but themselves. They have no love. They have no empathy. All they want to do is play the game of narcissistic abuse with people who don't know what's going on until people wise up and figure it out. And these are the people that must go no contact. Block the narcissist, delete them, remove all fly monkeys and people associated with them. If not now, when? If you can't do that, utilize Grey Rock. Become dull and boring and get the narcissist off your radar. Now, I understand each and every one of our circumstances are similar but yet different, and they're definitely unique. The whole point of this video is to let you know that if you have had that point or that period of time or that moment in time that's frozen in your brain forever, and you can't get that picture out of your mind when the house came crumbling down, the relationship came crumbling down. And if you think for a minute that you could have changed anything, number one, you couldn't have. If you stayed in the relationship a little bit longer, what would have happened? The punishment would have gotten worse and the discard would have been worse, I can assure you. But number two, that period of time that you're thinking about when everything came crumbling down, it was a very, very challenging experience, to say the least, to go through. But looking back in retrospection, after you have healed, after you've reached the pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference, you will come to understand that that was probably one of the biggest blessings in disguise. Now, right now, I'm giving you a trigger warning. If your relationship ended recently, that part of the video is not for you. If you've healed or you're well on the healing path, you understand that you had to break through that relationship. You had to break free from it. If you weren't strong enough to end it, the narcissist did it and they discarded you. It wasn't fun to go through. But one more day in a toxic narcissistic relationship, when you're taking notes about the person or when you're being peppered with abuse day in and day out, and all of your resources are becoming decimated and your health is ailing and you have no one to turn to or no one to talk to and you don't even know what you're up against, the best thing is to get yourself out of that relationship. So again, I'm going to share with you, if you were discarded, my heart goes out to you. It is one of the most challenging things to ever experience in your life. But when time has passed and you've healed and you've slowed your life down and processed childhood wounds and journaled and meditated and really understood that all the people that weren't there to support you, they were never there to support you. And maybe even you saw a therapist and you understand that that relationship, it wasn't your fault. You were manipulated, you were taken advantage of, but you are blessed to be out of it. When you wrap your head around that, then you get it. You get the message. The message is you were being tested, and the test was something that you had to pass. You had to go through that relationship. There was no other way. It was part of a lifelong learning lesson that not everybody goes through. Many people go through the toxic narcissistic relationship and they can't even identify it. Many people go through it and they break free from it, but they don't get the needle in a haystack. They don't get the wisdom on the narcissistic abusive cycle. Then there are people like you who get it. Along the way, there are so many experiences and challenges that you were up against when you were in that relationship, but you conquered these things. You're understanding them, you're unwrapping them, you're going down the rabbit hole of education and enlightenment. You're becoming awakened and aware. You are a third version of yourself, the most strongest galvanized version of yourself known to humankind. That is the person who's risen through the ashes like a phoenix, and they are triumphant, and they've beaten the narcissistic abusive relationship, and they now have boundaries, and they can say no, the strongest word in the English language. Remember, when you say no to something or someone, you're saying yes to yourself. So I want to share this before I close the video. Really understand, did you want to go through that relationship? No. If the narcissist gave you a 2-page report telling you who they were and what they would do to you, would you have entered that relationship? No. Did you give it your best? Did you do the best you possibly could in the relationship and for those people that were associated with the narcissist? I'm sure you did. Did you take a hit? Absolutely. Did you almost not make it? I'm sure. Are you here in the community right now? Yes, you are. Do you understand that that relationship, it was something that you had to go through? I believe you do. If you don't, or you do, drop comments below. But the point being, in every narcissistic relationship, there is a day of reckoning. There is a day when everything comes crumbling down, and that is one of the most challenging days you'll ever have. There are other challenging days as well, of course, but that one will shift the trajectory of your life forever. And whereas it seems like you're never going to recover, you're never going to heal, Slowly but surely you put yourself back together when you understand what narcissism is, and you begin to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And the next thing you know, you get better and better, and that light gets bigger and bigger. And over a period of time, and I cannot tell you how long it will take you to heal. Side note, if anybody ever tells you how long it will take you to heal, don't listen to them. The healing path is contingent upon directly how much work you place into yourself. It's not on a course, it's not on a book, it's not on a video. It's you slowing your life down and processing things. And in time, in your time, you will heal. But when you process all of these things I'm sharing, then you'll look back and say to yourself, I am so grateful I'm out of that relationship. I didn't want to go through it. It's not what I thought it was, but I was manipulated, I was taken advantage of, and I am leaving that chapter closed from the past, and I have nothing to do with any of those people any longer, and I am living my best life. That's when doors of abundance will open up for you. That's when you will fall in love again. That's when you'll create new friendships. That's when you'll start a business. That's when you'll take a class, teach a class, read a book, write a book. That's when you will travel the globe. That's when you will find yourself. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that you are not alone. And it is about to rain here. So I will talk to you all tomorrow. God bless you. I love you. And have a great day. Bye. And yes, I said y'all.